T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0.
What's going on, YouTube? Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great day. RDAP here, Federal Prison Time. And we're going to talk a little bit about, as you can see in the topic here, expectation of attorneys and what we should be expecting from them when we're either hiring them or having them appointed to us. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Jay, Kate, Robert? Welcome. Thank you for joining us, guys. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Hope everybody had a really happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all for the amazing birthday wishes. I got way more birthday wishes than I could imagine, and happy birthdays. Really means a lot to me knowing you guys are thinking about me on my special day, so we'll make sure we return the favor and think of you guys on your special day. So we're going to be talking here about attorneys, and the reason why we're going to focus on this today is I told you guys about this email. I received an email last week. Somebody posted something on Avvo about federal defense attorneys and why they're not more involved with the actual preparation. And what's cool is you can go on there and you can just click on this link, and it's actually in the description of this video. You can click on the link, and it allows you to view the responses from attorneys, and you can see why there's this giant disconnect from what happens from the point of getting in trouble, getting ready to prepare for prison. You can see where the disconnect is from the attorneys, and ultimately they just don't think it's something they should be focused on. So we're going to take a look at that in a minute. I've actually got my monitors set up here so we can see my other screen. We're going to do that in a second. Who else we got in the room? Alex. Hey, what's going on, Alex? Had a nice conversation with you today. Redskin 4040. Welcome, Bonnie. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening. It's dark as hell over here, and it's only 5:30. It's pitch black outside. Welcome to Spokane. Before we jump into that, first off, make sure if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you go ahead and do that now. Also, make sure you text the word YouTube to 35074. That will put you on our notification list, so when we're having updated videos, any type of time change, if we're not going to be going live that day and you're waiting around all day for rdapdan to go live, if you have the subscription to the text service, which is free, just text the word YouTube to 35074 and you'll be notified, so you're not waiting around for nothing. In addition to that, we're adding some stuff to the website that I want you guys to be a part of. Mr. Merrick, what's going on? Glad to see you, my man. We want you guys to be a part of. So actually, let's jump over to the website real quick. Let's take a look at this, guys. So this is wrong button. This is rdapdan.com. Real simple website. So if you go to my website, you know, it's nothing crazy. We're trying to keep it basic so you guys can just kind of go through with what you need. But we've got some different things here that you can focus on. And one of them is for those of you that want to have the ability to help out others that are going through a similar situation. If you see down here at the bottom, support rdapdan. That's me. So if you click on this, and we're still updating, but I just want to give you guys an idea of where we're going here. There we go. So what this is here is the CMMP, the Community as Method Membership Program. What this is going to allow you to do, first off, this is not just for people that are going to federal prison. This is for anybody that wants to help give back. And what we're doing with the proceeds that are generated through this are going to go to help those. Every month, we're going to start showcasing inmates that are in prison, that need help, that are going without, that don't have proper clothing, proper hygiene, different situations. Every month, we're going to showcase a few different inmates, and the money that is generated through this is going to go to support that. And hopefully a portion of it will also go to update and support the website. And as you can see here, we're going to be doing some additional things. Members that are on this, it's $10 a month. So I'm pretty sure everybody can swing $10 a month. $10 a month is not only going to allow you to help inmates, but it's also going to give you access to our toolkit, which is going to be the sentencing calculator, sample letters for personal narratives, character reference letters. A lot of you are asking for these type of things, and you're not really in a position, or maybe you don't need to hire a consultant, but you just need some basic direction. We're going to have showcase videos on here that are going to help you get prepared for federal prison. So when you get a chance, jump over to my website, rdapdan.com. Just scroll down to the bottom and click on the support rdapdan, and you can read about this. We're going to have some additional things being added to the site within the next week. So it's a work in progress, but I just want to kind of keep you guys in the loop as to what we're working on. Yeah, so we got that. So now let's go back over here so I can talk to you guys again. So it was really interesting seeing this Avvo response from these attorneys. I was surprised. So when this was emailed to me, it was before any of the attorneys responded. So I received an email. I don't remember what day it was. Some day last week from some, I don't even remember who it was from. Somebody that just sent me a random email. It said this is a post that I put on Avvo after watching several of your videos. So if you guys want to take a peek at this, here, let me get that page up. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see. Got to get the right screen here. Here we go. We'll stretch it out. All right, so this was the post that was put on Avvo. And what day? It tells you. So it was November 25th. How come the majority of federal defense attorneys do not assist more with preparing for federal prison? I'm interested in learning why federal criminal defense attorneys do not have more knowledge of what a person should do in order to properly prepare for prison. I'm referring to the average nonviolent criminal, first-time offender, or white-collar type. There seems to be very little effort on personal narratives, character reference letters, RDAP, how RDAP really works, how depending on how much time you have remaining on your sentence once you enter into RDAP determines how much time you can have reduced. If I'm out on pretrial release, how come more attorneys are not requesting people to get involved with community service, speaking at schools, attending AANA? If the goal is to take RDAP, from what I'm seeing, most attorneys, not all, seem very uneducated in this area. It's sad because all these things can make a difference the day of sentencing. I've been watching a guy on YouTube called rdapdan who has done 100% or 100 times more than the average attorney, and he's just a guy who spent time in federal prison. His knowledge is far beyond the average attorney when it comes to when it comes to this subject. It seems like if attorneys really wanted what's best, they would reach out to him and assist their clients. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So we've actually got 6 attorneys who have responded. The first attorney, Fred, whatever his name is, he didn't really respond. He just said redirecting to the criminal defense section of Avvo JD. Maybe there's some more information there. So here's our first real response. So this guy, Christopher Robert Dillingham II, United States Federal Bureau of Prisons operates RDAP, not federal defense attorneys. It's not the defense attorney's job to prepare defendants for prison. What we do is try to keep you out of prison through legal work. What you do after you arrive in prison to reduce your sentence is up to you. Please allow me to put this in another way. It's Thanksgiving weekend. I'm responding to discovery requests and preparing for a trial while most people are relaxing and taking it easy. I don't have time to be an RDAP consultant too. It's not what I do as a lawyer. So we'll jump to the other answers here in a second. But let's talk about this for a second. So these attorneys talk about, and they all said they all kind of just took what he said and they just kind of reworded his paragraph. They all said they work on keeping us out of prison. Okay, we know that's not true. We absolutely know that's not true. It's not that they wouldn't love to keep us out of prison, but most cases we understand, unless you're like Jay, who's in this room right now, who got probation, people do receive probation, but it's not very often at all. We know that 90+% in federal court all end in a plea bargain, in a plea deal, which is a conviction, which in most cases, I'm not going to say every case, in most cases ends in prison time. So if an attorney knows taking on a federal defender, whether he's hired or whether he was retained by federal government to assist you, they know that there's a good chance you're going to be taking a plea and you're going to be facing some time. So if they know this going into it, why don't they take the initiative? Why don't they take the extra steps to put in focus into making sure that no one's saying they have to prepare you for what prison's going to be like. We're not asking them to tell you what your first day in prison's going to be like, but we are asking them to prep you for your pre-sentence report. And you would think that's their job. You would think by now they would say, hey, this is what works for other people. Get involved in community service. Get involved in AA and NA. Why do they feel like it's not their job or they should not be even mentioning this information? And I think this has a lot to do with the giant disconnect when people hire their attorney, because the attorneys don't explain this to you. They don't tell you they're not going to help you with these things. What attorneys do is they prey on the fact that you're assuming a lot without them ever saying anything. They're like, well, I never said I was going to do that. It's like, yeah, but you didn't say you weren't going to do it. And when I spent $500,000 or $50,000 on my legal defense, I kind of assumed I was going to get more than a generic cookie cutter plea. And a lot of these pleas are very cookie cutter. We know it. We know that they immediately get the plea from prosecutors. They pitch the plea to you, sell you on it, get you to take the plea and move on. Very rarely do they want to create any grief or any conflict with the prosecutor because they're afraid. They're afraid of what might happen. Now, ultimately, yes, you could end up getting more prison time. So no one's saying, hey, avoid what your attorney's saying and go to trial. There are some attorneys out there that really do have the best interest of the client. And no one's saying that attorneys shouldn't work for a plea. We understand that most cases are going to end in a plea. But what we are saying is if an attorney really cared about the outcome of helping his client, he would take a couple of extra moments to educate himself and understand what a client can do beyond the plea agreement to reduce a sentence or potentially reduce a sentence. Now, these attorneys go on to say that it's not up to them, it's up to the BOP who gets an RDAP. Yes, ultimately, yes. But as an attorney, you could be advising your client with a little bit more direction to what they can do to increase their chances to get into a program like RDAP, to increase their chances into having the judge go under the guidelines, if applicable, at sentencing. They don't do these things, so you have to ask yourself why. Is it laziness? Is it incompetent? Is it they just don't know? Is it just they're so used to doing things a certain way that anything different throws a wrench into their plan and they don't know how to operate outside of the narrow tunnel that they focused on? I hope attorneys are watching this, and I hope they're getting pissed off, and I hope they're getting mad, and I hope they use that anger to do the right thing and fucking help your clients, because there should not be such a demand for prison consulting. Now, I love it, don't get me wrong, I'm doing something that I love to do, but there shouldn't be such a demand for what I'm doing. And there really is a massive demand, a giant outcry. Now, let's read some of these messages here. My experience with my civil case was my attorney handled my case in an assembly line fashion. I won because I hired someone who really knew the system to help me properly package my case. My attorney hated the guy who packaged my case. That is until I won, and then he thought was a right. So and that's typical. That's very, very, very typical. As attorneys don't like to be told anything. They don't like to listen. They don't like to take advice. And I don't know why. An ego, you know, the way they were just the way the whole attorney-esque kind of vibe is given off is they have to be the end all be all. And it's hard to deal with somebody like that. It's hard to deal with somebody that will not take criticism. The minute you think you stop learning, and the minute you think you have all the answers, and the minute you think you can't learn something from somebody else, regardless of who that person is, you should never turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to where or who you might be able to learn something from. Because that is what makes us unique individuals. That is what makes us be able to get up every day and focus on doing the right thing, because we know there's people out there that we can learn from. We can learn from other mistakes. Who else we got in the room? We got, let's see, I thought I saw Scott in here. Oh, Scott D is here. Scott D, attorneys are overworked, too many cases, and many of the cases involving criminals facing serious time, not first-time offenders. In my opinion, best attorney to have is one who knows the system. Granted, yes, one who knows the system, and that's going to help. And here, let's read. You guys want to see some of these other attorney reviews, or not reviews, I'm sorry, attorney responses? Let's read a couple other ones here. So that was from Christopher, Robert Dillingham II. Now, here, guys, the description. Here, let me post it right here. The description. I'm gonna post this in the chat room right now. So the link to this Avvo is in the description, and I'm gonna post it in the chat room just to make sure you have all opportunities here. All right, so there's that link. Hopefully, it's a clickable link. Now, you can go on this. You don't have to be a member. I don't think you have to be a member to reply. I don't know, but you can definitely go on and read it. And if you have to sign up, it's free. Sign up. Let these attorneys know. You can comment on these attorneys. You can comment on their responses. Let them know what you feel is inaccurate about what they're saying. So let's go down to the next attorney. The next attorney is Michael Adam Harbor. And look, he's got great reviews. I mean, 144 reviews. They're all positive. So we're not saying this guy's an incompetent attorney. What we are saying is maybe they just don't understand what it is that we need as clients and what they're lacking. Avvo is a forum for folks with real-world legal issues to seek guidance and generic advice. It's not a discussion panel, a legal research mechanism, a study tool, or a place for hypothetical conversation. If you want to know how come the majority of federal defense attorneys do not assist more with preparing for federal prison, then Google it or join a discussion group on the internet. My time is valuable and reserved for real-world folks who need help with real-world problems. I can't speak for my colleagues, but I'm not here to satisfy your curiosity or engaging intellectual banter. That said, if you ever find yourself in a position, so this guy's basically not even willing to acknowledge that this might be a real issue. So the fact that he's saying he deals with real world issues, people that are getting ready to go to federal prison, it doesn't get more real than that. So he's completely underestimating the importance and the anxiety and the concern that people have. And what they don't understand is we're not just talking about preparing us to walk into the gate. We're talking about preparing us for our pre-sentence report, preparing us for the lowest possible sentence. Their job as an attorney is to help you get the best possible sentence, which includes preparing you for RDAP to get time off. I'm staring at the camera like you guys can see me. Preparing for RDAP to get the time off, and personal narratives, character reference letters. It includes all of those things that make a difference in the mitigation of a possible sentence, but they put zero effort into it. And I'm not going to say every attorney, just happens to be the 6 attorneys that responded to this guy's post, all responded the same way. So kind of frustrating I was really surprised. I thought either there wouldn't be any responses, or they would try to say, well, we do focus on that, or this is why I'm different. This is how I focus on these things. And we're just not seeing it. Why don't attorneys have their paralegals provide this sort of counseling? Yeah, good question, Bonnie. Scott D. Has relationships with the people involved. Has relationships with the people involved. Sorry, Scott, didn't understand what your question. Oh wait, here, that's the question. Knows the system. Be active and prepare. Ask the right questions. Be intelligent. Some attorneys do appreciate clients who are informed, and I'm thankful for this channel. Thank you, Scott. And Scott, I'm by all means not here to bash on attorneys, but as you can imagine with the industry that I'm in and the amount of phone calls that I get, it's become the norm to hear the same type of issues that clients are having with their attorneys. And yes, but the thing is you say ask your attorneys questions. A lot of attorneys like to get questions and have their clients informed. At the same time, we hear I've actually seen emails. The clients show me the emails where attorneys are like, we don't need to worry about that. Your personal narrative is not important. We'll worry about that later. There's no need in sending the probation officer your personal narrative. I don't care if you do community service. That's up to you. You know, it doesn't matter if you go to AA or NA. I don't know if I don't see how that's going to make a difference. They'll actually make these statements like it's a waste of time, and it's very conflicting for the client when everybody's ultimate goal should be to see the best outcome for the client. And the reason for this video today, guys, is the only way attorneys are ever going to start making the necessary changes. And again, not every attorney has issues. But what I am saying is that the only way that attorneys are going to improve is if we bring it to their awareness. Maybe they really do not see how needed. We're not saying provide a service. We're not asking the attorneys to write the letters. Even if an attorney was to say, hey, go talk to RDAP. I'm not, or Justin, or Michael, or Bruce, or any of these guys, Larry, go talk to this so-and-so because this is something that they focus on. And I am aware how important this is to you and the possible outcome of your sentence. So I think it is at least worth you to go check into and see if it's something that's going to be a fit for you. At least give the client the okay to go look into it. Don't just tell them it's a waste of time, because where are they basing that information? Scott, are you an attorney, by the way? Just out of curiosity? Because if you are, I'm really glad you're here, and I definitely hope you're not taking this personal. No attorney should take this personal, and if you are taking it personal as an attorney, then maybe it's hitting a soft spot where maybe you know that there's a little bit of truth to it. So Scott's not an attorney. Whew, thought I was offending an attorney there. So yeah, guys, so it's frustrating for me because I know there's more that attorneys could be doing, a little bit more, a little bit better direction. Not saying that the attorneys need to become consultants, but it's such a simple thought process of if an attorney says my objective to you, Mr. Client or Mrs. Client, is to help you get the best possible outcome. That doesn't just mean the best plea possible. That's not what that means. At least that's not what it means in my mind as a client. It means you're going to help me serve the least amount of time in prison possible, and that can include RDAP, character reference letters, personal narratives, community service, going to substance abuse programs, whether it be AA or NA. All of these things combined together are what is going to create the best possible outcome. So it needs to be structured and the picture needs to be clearer. I think if there's more focus on this, there would not be so many blind people running around once they get indicted not knowing where to turn. There needs to be more direction and a clearer message sent through the entire system. I don't know how much you guys follow Ban the Box. Ban the Box is where basically they're trying to get the questionnaire, the question removed from the job application. When you go to apply for a job, ban the box. Remove the question of are you a convicted felon off of the application. There's a lot of people opposing this. And I had a great conversation today. I was at not a diner, like a little coffee shop this morning. Shelly, I was next door to Shelly where she was, Shelly has her little hair salon. So we were going some places after that. So I went there and I was doing a little work on my laptop. I was sitting next to 4 older gentlemen, really nice guys. And I was eavesdropping on their conversation and I heard them start talking about Ban the Box. And they were saying how it's a waste of time for the city council to worry about this type of stuff when they need to worry about fixing the streets and this and that, and there's no issue and there's no reason for it. It should be up to the employer whether or not they want to hire felons or not. It shouldn't be, you know, up to the city. So I asked if they mind if I engaged in the conversation, and they were like, yeah, sure. So I got involved in this conversation with guys that are probably 2.5 times my age. You know, these guys are probably 70, 80 years old, all retired gentlemen, really nice guys, just kind of hanging out. And I was asking them why they think there shouldn't be, why they should not ban the box. And he was telling me, or they were telling me basically, because it should be up to the employer. And I said, well, I agree with you. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have to disclose it, but there's a difference in disclosing it on your application and disclosing it during the interview process. You know, no one's saying lie about it. But if it's not on the application, at least you have a better chance of getting into the interview process to where you have a face-to-face interview. If you guys remember the interview I did with John Odermatt from Felony Friday with geez, mine just went blank. The hell's the name of, can't think of it right now. Lines of Liberty podcast. Lines of Liberty podcast with John Odermatt. John Odermatt, the reason why he got into being such an advocate for basically felons and anything with the system being upside down was he worked for a company where he was in charge of hiring in the HR department, a large company, and every time he saw felon on an application, he automatically moved it to the side. Didn't want to deal with it. And what happened with that was when he brought the applications to his boss said, well, what happened to all of the felonies? Or happened to all of the people that had felonies? And he said, well, I figured we don't want to hire those guys. And his boss had to be like, no, these are some of our best employees. So it wasn't, if it wasn't for a wherewithal management or wherewithal boss, he never would have known. And that's what happens. When you get in front of somebody face to face, it's much easier to explain your crime, your felony, your past, than it is for them just reading a box and automatically jumping to a conclusion. So banning the box is not saying employers aren't going to know that they're hiring a felon. It's just saying it has to be during the interview process, which makes complete sense to me. I don't see how anybody could have an issue with that. But a lot of people do, and I think it's because of a lack of understanding, or it's not explained properly, or the opposing party doesn't want to explain it properly. The opposing party just wants everybody to think if they ban the box, then a bunch of felons are going to get jobs because nobody knows they had a felony. No, guys, come on. It doesn't work that way. Background checks, criminal checks, all that stuff still exists. It's not getting rid of any of that. It's just increasing the opportunity for the felon that's being released from prison. There's already enough challenges for people getting out of prison, especially if you've been down for a long time. Now you're tacking that on with the fear of generating a resume and going into an interview process. There's enough fears. And then bringing up that you're a felon. Getting your foot in the door should not be such a struggle. Just being able to get that interview to explain yourself. So if you're out there and you're opposing ban the box, I'm not going to tell you what to think or what to feel. Everybody's got that right. But at least do your homework and understand what it would mean if we did allow, if we did remove the box off of job applications. Imagine the cut down on recidivism. You know, you have somebody that can't get a job because nobody will give them that second chance. Every time they see felon, 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 no, no, no. Eventually, if this person is used to a life of crime, at some point, they're going to convert back to old ways. So we do have to look out for our community. If we want to see less crime, we got to offer them cognitive skills, cognitive programs, rehabilitation once they get released from prison. And part of that starts while you're in prison. Educating people while they're in prison, offering assistance, letting people know that there are people out there that care. It's going to require a lot of work on you being the felon. You're going to have to show people that you're worthy. You're going to have to make yourself stand out. You're going to have to be the one that doesn't give up. But there should be a little bit of a process to make that system a little bit easier to work through. Just reading some of these messages here. Scott, worked in a criminal defense firm. You helped me get, Scott, yes, my bad. Scott, you sound like an attorney, so good for you. Bonnie, my two really good attorneys taught me how to be an informed client. They built trust through transparency. I would ask them, what can I do to make your job easier, more effective? And that's great. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Mike Winters. Mike Winters, another client. Bonnie, in Canada, if you're a nonviolent first-time offender who has been rehabilitated, which is, as I recall, 6 years, you can apply to have your record expunged. Dan, you should seek out a few great lawyers and have great partnership. I do have attorneys that I do have some decent relationships with attorneys, Mr. Merrick. That's why I'm not automatically throwing every attorney under this bus. It's just the mass majority of what I see. fall into this category. So it's kind of like, just like there's a lot of prison consultants out there that don't do a damn thing. Gives us all a bad rap, right? So what can we do? We've got to be voiceful. We got to talk about what we're doing. And I'll tell you guys, I'm so satisfied with the direction that everything has been taking. We've got different people in this room tonight. We've got Alex. Alex owns a business. And, you know, I might be doing some business with Alex because of what I'm doing and because of the passion and the love that I have for this and why I'm doing it. You know, Alex sees that and wants to be a part of it. I've also possibly partnered up with a blog writer that's going to be running our blog. So we have a blog on the website as well. It's there, but the button's not on there because we weren't using it. So as of next week, we're going to have a bunch of blogs that are going to start getting posted to the website. And the majority of the blogs are going to be based on prison location. So, for example, if we have a client that, say, is at Coleman Low, we're going to blog about, there's going to be a specific blog with Coleman Low, and then each person underneath that is going to have some sort of tie to the prison. So we can get real-time information to what the prison's like, what's the good things about the prison, what you don't like about the prison, what are the facilities like, what kind of programs do they have. Everybody that's getting ready to go to prison, once they find out where they're designated to, the #1 common question I get is, do you know anything about this prison? And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's all blended in my mind together that I need to go reference it from somewhere. So why not have real information from inmates? So we're going to start doing some inmate interviews through email and letters, and this information is going to get put into the blog because this is going to give information to you guys. There's a lot of people that need help in prison, that need support, that need a support system. So guys, if you can sponsor programs, if you can sponsor these guys in prison, we figure if we have enough clients that are paying $10 a month, that will add up. And that will give us a very substantial purpose to be able to help these people that are in prison. In addition, on the website, here, we'll take another look at the website since we're talking about the website. On the website, on the same section, anybody that goes down here and becomes a CMMP, which is Community Method Membership Program, anybody that becomes a part of that is automatically going to be included in our monthly giveaway. Our monthly giveaway is going to be cash, prizes, things of that nature, not necessarily prison related. Not everybody needs services, but we want to make sure that everybody can include and get involved. So if you get involved in this, every month, it might even be more than that, we're going to do giveaways. This isn't money that we're trying to use for RDAPdan to survive and pay bills. This is money that we're trying to entice people to become a part of this community, because this is how we're going to be able to help people that need services that just can't afford it. Part of the sponsorship program for helping other people that need consulting services that don't have the money, they can't afford the letter writing skills. If you guys are donating $10 a month, this is going to help so many people in so many different ways, and we're going to include a bunch of free tools into the toolkit on the website to give you guys as much access as possible. So all you got to do is jump over to rdapdan.com, take a look at that, and hopefully we can see that community grow and use this for positivity, people helping people. That's what we always talk about. I'm sure there's people out there right now that are going, oh, there goes Dan asking for money again. Got me. Got me. Open question. Will the new BOP director, yeah, but probably not good changes, as we've already seen. And I'm getting emails every day from more and more clients in prison that are finding out about halfway houses that are closing down or giving less halfway house. The budget cuts to the BOP have really sliced right down into the halfway house. That's where seems like they really forced most of the budget cut to go towards, was not just closing halfway houses, but reducing the amount of halfway house time that they're willing to basically pay for somebody in the halfway house. They're talking like 30 to 60 days. So that's why it's really important to know what you can qualify for, to get yourself involved in the residential drug addiction program, because that's going to guarantee you a minimum of 4 months, in addition to being able to qualify for the Second Chance Act, which, depending on your sentence, can qualify for up to a year of halfway house. Now, it's rough. Not everybody's going to get that, but we will fight for you tooth and nail and help you prepare yourself best way possible to increase the chances of getting some additional halfway house through the Second Chance Act. Anybody, look, there's prison consultants out there that promise you, guarantee you to get you approved for RDAP. Guarantee you're going to get an RDAP or your money back. that is a worthless guarantee. Why spend the money on that? Why not just say, hey, if we get you an RDAP, then pay us? If they're so confident, why not do it first and then get you in the program? There is no guarantee. That's the one thing that the attorney said that's correct. It's up to the BOP. You can prepare yourself the best way possible, but if you're just going to hire somebody just to help you get an RDAP, don't do it. I've got plenty of videos on here that give you that free content. Make sure you have the substantial information in your pre-sentence report. In addition to that, make sure your crime qualifies. Make sure it's not a violent crime. You didn't use a gun in the crime. There was no hands-on with children. Sex offenders can qualify for RDAP. If it's a child pornography case and there was no hands-on, there was no touching children, there was no nothing like that, you can qualify for the residential drug addiction program. The big factor there is, A, do you have enough time? And B, the halfway house that you're going to be designated to, do they accept sex offenders? If the halfway house that you're supposed to go to does not accept sex offenders, then you will not be able to qualify for RDAP, because part of graduating and getting through the RDAP program is also qualifying for 4 months of federal halfway house. You have to be able to do 4 months in the halfway house in order to graduate RDAP. That's part of it, because you have transition RDAP while you're in the halfway house. So if there's not enough halfway house time left, or your crime prevents you, or they do not take your type of crime, that will prevent you from the entire program. So then you might want to consider relocating your release address to an area that has a halfway house that will accept sex offenders. Keep that in mind. Keep it in your back pocket for a rainy day. Might be some information you need. But on our website for our subscription members, a lot of this information is going to be in there. We're going to be making some additional exclusive videos that are only going to be shown there. We really want to give you guys a reason and a purpose to join this community, because it's only going to help so many more. $10 a month. I mean, we're spending that on anything and everything for most of us. I understand, if you can't, you can't, or if you don't want to, you don't want to. Nobody has to. But I am asking you to do what you can to help support. There's so many people out there that we get emails from every week. A lot of you, you know, the Can Do Foundation. A lot of you have probably seen Mr. King, Malik King, who's throughout the foundation. These guys are always trying to help people. They would be a great source for us to go to say, hey, what inmates, that whether the state, federal, male, female, doesn't matter, juveniles and somewhere, what inmates do you have right now that are struggling, that need a few extra things, need a pick-me-up, need, you know, to know that there are people out there that care? Because this is what is going to help people get out and stay out, is knowing that not everybody has written them off. And we see that a lot. We see a lot of people just written off in prison, out of sight, out of mind. So let's let people know that we're here thinking about them. High five. All right. All right. Closing more halfway houses seems like government really don't want to help anyone get ahead at all. You know, this administration is just not a believer that the administration we have right now is, you know, maybe there's a lot of good things that it is bringing. Maybe the economy is re-strengthening, but its belief on harsher penalties on crime is big. Less halfway house time. They don't think it's needed. Now, look, let's be honest. Let's take somebody that's got a short sentence, that's got a family, that's got people to come home to. Yeah, we want more halfway house because we get out of prison sooner, we get to get home. But, you know, like, okay, if they wouldn't have given me halfway house, would it have been the end of the world? No. I would have had a place to go. I just would have spent some more time in prison. But take somebody that's been down for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and they don't have family support. They don't have a place to go when they get out. They're relying on the halfway house to allow them to get on their feet, to find a job, save money, find housing, come up with security deposits, whatever it is they need. That's not going to happen in 30 to 60 days unless you've got one hell of a good job that's paying a handsome salary. If you're just getting into the halfway house, it might take you 2 or 3 months just to get your foot in the door to get a job, and then another 3 or 4 months to be able to save up enough money to be able to go put something on a little studio apartment or rent a room from somebody and be able to get it approved from probation. There's a lot of hurdles that already exist. By slicing halfway house time, it is just creating a fucking monster of people that are going to end up right back in the system because they have nowhere to go. You cannot put people on the street. You can't put people on the street and expect them to be able to pick their life back up and do the right thing. Not everybody has the ability to do that. So we're not just talking about white-collar criminals that, you know, serve an 18-month sentence that want to come home sooner. We're talking about legitimate people that need the time. It's very unfortunate, very sad, and I imagine it's going to implode on them. They're going to have to go back to to funding halfway houses because it just doesn't make sense what they're doing. I don't know their reasoning. They won't give one. They're just budget cuts because they need money for other shit. That's what it is. We all know. We all know the answers. We just don't like what we hear. One became the go-to attorney for people who has cases like mine because of the referrals. He made money training colleagues. Yeah, look, if you build a good name for yourself in any industry, attorneys, if you build your name as more than just the cookie cutter attorney that's doing the bare minimal, walking you through the door, getting your plea and saying sayonara, if you go above and beyond and cause easing somebody's mind, lowering anxiety, people need that as much as they need an awesome defense. Most of us, we know once we get involved in this, once we've swallowed the fact that we're probably going to go to prison at some point, most of us know that we're going to prison and we're going to take a plea. It doesn't take a rocket science attorney to do that. What it does take is understanding and reducing that fear factor. If attorneys are not concerned with people out there committing suicide, going on the run, just flat out dying from heart attacks because of the anxiety and the fear of what could be not removed, but could be reduced and lowered to a manageable expectation. That's all we're asking. And the attorneys don't want to do it. So please do me a favor. Click on the link in this video for the Avvo link. Go in there and respond to these attorneys. You guys are real people. You're people that are going through it. Let them know what you wish you were seeing with attorneys. Speak your mind, and maybe they'll listen to it, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll hear something from you that they've already heard from their own client, and they'll realize, man, this is a real issue. Maybe one of you can make a difference in one attorney, and that makes the entire thing worth it, guys. You know, I said it today in a Facebook message. It's not exactly the message that you're saying, it's how you say it. You don't need to get in there and get combative and try to fight with them. Try to just ease in what it is. We don't need to bump heads. We don't need to go, no, you're wrong and you're an asshole and you're a shitty attorney. That's not going to help anything. All that's going to do is a clash of the egos. We need to explain to attorneys what we're struggling with. Attorneys haven't been to prison. Most of them haven't anyway. So maybe they don't really understand the fears that we're dealing with. Explain it to them. Tell your story. Let it be heard. Write it to me. I'll post it somewhere. I would love to hear your journeys and your stories with your attorneys, good or bad. And I'd love you to post it in the comments of this video. How long has this video been so long? I've been rambling. My voice hurts. 43 minutes. Holy moly. Well, it's not my birthday anymore, but I've got family here. Shelly's mom is actually in the other room. They're taking me out for dinner for my birthday because we were so busy. And me and Shelly had I should have put a picture of that. Me and Shelly had an amazing, she took me out for my birthday. I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it was amazing. We had a giant view of the river. It was just a really nice evening. Had a great time. It was just me and her. You know, we drank a bottle of wine, enjoyed the night, and that was that, guys. So now I'm going to go have dinner with the family for my birthday, and we're probably just going to go somewhere light, like a little steakhouse or something, have a good time. But I appreciate all of you. You guys have been with us for a long time. 2018, we're going to be on fire, guys. We're going to be doing some ridiculous things that you're not used to, that I hope you guys enjoy, because it's all for bettering everybody's situation, because if we can help one person, we can help all. It just takes one at a time. And because of you guys, I'm here. I appreciate it. Love every single one of you. Jay Tabor, I can't believe it's 6 there in Washington and it's 9 here in Connecticut. Yeah, it gets dark here at 3:30, 4 o'clock. It starts to get dark this time of year. Crazy. It's like I'm ready for bed already. But got to go eat dinner. All right, everybody. Have a great week. I will see you guys on Saturday. We've got some good things coming up here soon, some really fun interviews. We're going to be interviewing a lady from a company called I Did the Time. She's big on ban the box. She's big on policies. She spent time in federal prison, and we're going to be interviewing her hopefully next week or the week after, and she's going to be sharing her story and how she's been changing lives right here live with rdapdan. All right, guys. Have a great night. Love everybody. Peace.